Hello, it's Martin again with another video. After talking about one of the biggest mistakes I made last week, this week I wanted to talk about probably one of the most important decisions I made, and that was simply going self-employed. Because I think when I made the decision to go self-employed, I wasn't sure what it was going to involve. I wasn't sure about how things really worked in the very beginning because I was very young. I was only 20 at that time. But I think what I've learned over the years, and if I look back on it, I would say that being self-employed was a very good decision for me because I've always been quite independent. And I think being self-employed, having your own business, has I could never sort of work for anybody, I don't think. I've had friends that have worked for companies, manufacturing and all those areas and places back then. But in all honesty, I could never see myself being anything but my own boss, I have to say. It's in a way it makes you think about many things being self-employed. Because you do everything yourself, or you do initially, I think it builds character. It builds what should I say? It builds momentum, and it helps you move towards your goals more. I think because it's your own business, you're getting obviously the independence, you're getting the freedom. Being your own boss is always really nice. The flexibility I love. I've really liked the idea of flexibility. And taking pride in your work. I think those are the things that really stand out for me. But obviously, you do work a lot more hours. You do tend to do most of the things yourself, but in a way that's not a bad thing, because I talked about that in one of the other videos. I think actually when you're coming into being self-employed, doing everything yourself helps you learn and grow overall on a bigger picture. So I think from that point of view, I think it's a good thing to try and do it. I know people don't always have the time, but I think it's important to try and establish yourself in all sectors of the business you're in. Having said that, it wasn't always easy. There's been setbacks, there's been mistakes. You have times when work is good, when work isn't so good. And you have to get through those periods. And if you've got a family like I did back then, initially, you're relying on your own ability to create work, get work. Although I did a lot of subcontracting those days, which meant that generally I was given work rather than actually having to look purposely for my own work itself. So when I think about it, would I be self-employed again? Yes, I would. Would I be in the same business again? Not sure. But definitely, I think once you've become a self-employed person, once you've become a person that owns your own business, I believe that you can't move. It's difficult to move away from that. I know some people do. Some people move away and they go and work for a company, but it's usually in their latter part of the years, when they've finished being self-employed and they want to do something else. It's not usually something that people change because they love the flexibility of being self-employed and the freedom. Of course, with that, like I said, comes the fact that you have to maintain it, you have to build it, you have to do everything pretty much yourself. And the working hours can be quite long, especially in the beginning. Um, and when you get busy, because none of us like to turn work away, do we? We don't tend to want to turn work away because we don't think about whether we're going to get more work in the future. So, when someone rings up, we usually try to do everything. But if I look back, yes, I've made mistakes along the way. But making that decision to go self-employed, I think, has actually changed the course of my life. And as I say, best decisions don't always feel like the safest decisions at the time. But I guess when I went self-employed, I was very young. I was still living at home. Um, So theoretically, I didn't really have anything to lose. I suppose if you're now 26, 27, 28 years old, or the latter part of your 20s, deciding to go self-employed, um, then those decisions perhaps are a little bit more frightening, a little bit more cautious, because you're already probably got what shall I say? You need more financial security as you get older. And like I said, for me, I was lucky enough to go self-employed at a very young age, um, with no pressures really. I guess I didn't have any pressures. Pressures built up over time rather than in the very beginning. So the bottom line is, yes, I've definitely made the right decision, I think, to go self-employed. And if any of you guys are out there, who are also self-employed, thought about your decisions from years ago, love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think about the fact that when you went self-employed, and whether that would be a decision you'd make again. Yeah, love to hear your comments. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Thank you for listening. I'll be back with another video next week.